So I just want to get you guys excited and pumped up and being a boss and being okay to be a boss and being independent and making your own money. And it doesn't mean that, we got to be separate and it's man hating or anything like that. It's really about, we're in 2020, right? And it's okay for women to make money and sometimes make more money than the man. Um, I know that, I don't know if I've shared this. I've shared it with some of these clients here that I've had before, but when, in some data has shown that when women are wealthy, they give 90% of that money back to their community and to their families. And when men are wealthy, they give only 30%. So this is why it's so highly encouraged, and I highly encourage for women to have money and for women to build profitable business, because when women build profitable businesses, they're going to give back to their community. They're going to give back, to the family. They're going to build, they're going to share. We share our wealth and we don't hoard it, right? So we just continue to bless it, whether we bless more women to start businesses, whether we, fix things that are going on in our communities or organizations that we really want to support, but we give back in that way. And it's just different than when men have it. And this is the same thing when it comes to politics. When women are elected into office, we are more just, we are more fair, we are more collaborative, we are more, we don't let ego get in the way of some of our decisions. So this is why women in elected office are more effective, just like women in business are more effective. The thing is that the reason why we're just coming out of our shells, right, in bigger ways now is because we've been suppressed for so long. It wasn't that long ago, it was only in the 1970s that we were allowed to have our own bank accounts, our own checkbooks. This was in the 70s, right? Some of our parents were, were our age or younger. They were just allowed to have bank accounts. And it's probably for white women. So if we weren't empowered to have money and control money, right? It's taken years of us being why can't I think of the word right now? Conditioned, right? To not feel like we can manage money, not feel that we can make money, that we can be wealthy. When we think about wealth, we think about men. You think about white men, you think about white men in a suit. I did a good exercise with this one money coach, and she said, think about if you were going to go have coffee with, what did she say? Coffee with money, right? If you're going to go have coffee with money or something, think of something like that. What does money look like to you? Describe it as a person, describe it as a thing, right? Or who you were going to go have coffee with. What did that look like? Right? So I want you guys to think about that. What does that look like to you? What does money look like to you? If you're going to go to coffee with somebody, right? I think, what was that? I think that was Tasha. I kept checking too. What do you mean, April? Hey, is that Tasha from Power? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, so you guys are having another side conversation about Power. I'm sorry, I don't watch Power, so I don't know what that means. But yeah, so if you guys were to have coffee with somebody, think about, just visualize that for a second. If you were going to have coffee and and you were having coffee with money, and you were describe it as a person, what does that look like to you? I want you to think about for a second, and I want you to put that in the chat. I'm going to tell you what I came up with when I thought about it. Try not to give the right answer. Try to give the that you think the right answer is. Give the answer that comes up to you first, right? When you think about money, who do you see and what do you see? So I'm going to share with you all what I saw. Are you guys going to start posting? You guys going to start putting in the chat who you see? So what I saw was a woman, and I saw a woman that wasn't really dressed up. She drove up to the appointment, our coffee, in like like me, like yoga pants, t-shirt, busy on the phone, but engaged on time, and like just, like pulled up in the Lincoln Navigator or whatever, or the Escalade, came out the back, popped out, assistant following her, sitting down with me. It's a woman of color, sitting down with me. That's what I seen. And when I told myself I would probably, a couple years ago, to me, I would see a white man in a pinstripe suit, right, with a briefcase. Years ago, only a couple years ago, I would probably say that. But today I've been able to circle and keep my circle of women of color, women making money, women that are wealthy, women that are making 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 a month to $1 million a month in profits in their business. So being able to be around that, it's changed my perspective, right? It's changed my mindset of what money looks like to me, or what money is supposed to look like, or what being rich is supposed to look like, or being wealthy is supposed to look like, right? It just changed our whole mindset. So that, yeah, older white man dressed casually, yeah. So these are things that are engraved in our brains, right? These are things that are engraved in our brains of what money is supposed to look like. To Tisha, it's Oprah, right? Beyonce, April said Beyonce and Jay-Z. Well-dressed, fit women with confidence, that is an energy, contagious energy. Yeah, right? We automatically think of well-dressed, right? We automatically think of well-dressed when that's not necessarily true, right? I thought pinstripe probably a couple years ago, but right now I thought of a woman casually dressed, like she doesn't even care, like she's gonna come to the meeting. It's like, you're meeting with me, you want to meet with me, I'm probably going to write a check to you. If you're meeting with me, I'm going to write a check to a charity. I could come dress however I want to dress, right? Because a lot of men do that too. They dress however they want to dress. And now, especially when you think about Silicon Valley billionaires and millionaires, they got flip-flops, shorts, t-shirts. It's just a different look, right? It's just a different look. So there are no rules, right? When you have your own money, there's no rules. It's like you take me or leave me, right? I'll show up looking nice sometimes, but I dress how I want to dress every day because I can, because I have the control, because I run my own business. I don't dress up for anybody. And who said I got to dress up to run a business to be wealthy? Like, where's that rule at? Where does that say that? Is it our mental constitution? It might be, right? It might be in our mental constitution. So I want you guys to remember that. Let's see, having worked in the service industry early in life, I found that we are flashy. Found the ones that were flashy were broke, the casual were rolling. Right, Melody? Exactly. I love it. Okay, so I just wanted to do that little exercise with you. It actually wasn't even part of the plan, but I thought about it, especially watching that video too. It's just, and then just talking about money in general. And money has been a big conversation, with us during this week. But I really want us as women to understand that we are worthy. We are worthy. We are worthy of having abundance. We are worthy of having wealth. And part of your mindset of making understand that you have everything inside of you to be great. You have everything inside of you to be great and be wealthy at the same time. And you're worthy of wealth, right? You are worthy of it. So making you understand that, and making us all believe that we can do it, right? That we can have it. There's no limits. There's no limits. And once I was able to see it, right? Just like I want all of you to see it. Once, and that's why I want to go make more money. So then you guys can see how not easy it is, but that it's possible, right? That it's possible that one person can have an idea, grow it, take huge risk on herself, and grow a business that she never could imagine, right? I want to be that person to many women so they can see it. Let's see. Basically, money is freedom to live by your own rules. My husband always says money makes your mouth honest. You don't give no fucks, right? That's true. That's true. I love it. So I want you guys to be able to see it, right? I want all of us to be able to see it. We will be examples to each other that it's possible. And a lot of us are in a lack and live in a lack mindset. And we have to start focusing on abundance. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about the law of abundance, and thinking in that way, and being able to call it into us, right? What would a millionaire do? What are your actions Are your actions aligning up to who you see yourself in a few years? Are you still making, poverty decisions, right? Based on lack, based on, I got to save, I got to hoard, I got to hold on to this, right? Or are you taking a chance on yourself? Like sometimes I can't even hold on to money. I'm investing it right away back into the business some way, somehow. I'm not going to buy a car. I'm not going to buy clothes, because you'll see me in the same yoga pants and same t-shirts, because I'm reinvesting this money right back into my business, because I know that if I reinvest, that money's going to come right back to me if I handle it the right way, whether it's investing in a coach or it's investing it in my marketing, in my branding, and whatever, I'm investing it. I'm trying to make really smart decisions to grow my business. And you have to take the chance on yourself in order to do that. A lot of people want to, like I see some people that start working with me and they want to be where I'm at right now. Like they want the same branding, they want the same website, they want to have Facebook ads running on social media. They want all this stuff, but I tell them it took me a long time to get here, right? Where I have the money to invest in that stuff. I was making Canva flyers for myself and creating my own logos and doing all my own marketing for the first 2 years. I was doing everything on my own, right, to grow this. And I tell you, you can't, there's levels, right? There's levels, and you got to build some traction and make some money and build your power and authority, right? Be known for something before you're just going to jump in and make all this money, right? Jump in and make the money, and also get to a point where you can invest in that way, right? You don't just come from point A to get to point D, right? You got to go through B and C too. So there's steps. Let's see. Financial freedom is my goal. I am a single mom and want to set a good example for her. Yes, and it's possible. The only limit is us thinking we can't get there, right? It's our mindset. We are in our own way. There is absolutely nothing. Once you believe, and once your mindset is stronger, and once you believe that you have that business, and you really truly believe in your business, once I got there too myself, there's no stopping me now, right? Like I don't stop. And people tell me that, like, Shonda, you don't stop. It's like always something. You're always like setting the bar. And I need to, right? If I want to be an example, I have to continue to set the bar. I can't stay dormant. I can't stay average. I can't stay mediocre. I got all of you ladies coming behind me and side by side with me. So I got to keep going. I got to keep raising the bar. But once I believed, once I seen what I do works, once I seen the results that come out of the coaching and the work that I do, there's no stopping me, because I know I have something, right? I have a gift. I have a gift. And once you see your gift, and once you believe in it and you see the results, there's absolutely no stopping you. It's all within you. Like we talked about yesterday, those riches, right? That all that money that woman had, and she didn't do anything with it, right? Wouldn't we look at that woman and be like, dang, that woman has all those millions of dollars and she's not doing that one thing with the money, right? We'd probably be shaking our head. But do you know people are doing the same about you? And I'm one of them for some of you, right? I'll be looking at you like, you don't even know how amazing you are. I wish you could see what I see. And I've been told that too, right? When I didn't believe in myself, right? And I didn't own it yet. I didn't own it, and I didn't have the proof yet. I didn't have the proof. I had to prove it to myself. I had to see it from my own eyes, right? I had to do a whole lot of mindset work to get me to a point where I truly believe, where I can go on social media and brag on myself, right? And, pop my collar a little bit and not feel like I'm being a fraud. Like, it's true. And that's where I want you guys to understand. Once you guys start believing, you're going to see it, and then you're going to be able to do it. That's why taking action is so important, because once you take action, you're going to see the results from the action, and then the results are going to spark confidence and belief. And then once you have that confidence and belief, it skyrockets. It's like no stopping you once that confidence kicks in and that belief. So we got to get there, right? And part of getting there is doing this work. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Yes, I love results. Keep going. Keep us pushing daily. Yes. April said, when did you feel confident going on social media? When did you realize you were ready? I just went, right? And I had a coach that forced me and challenged us to do it. That's part of like having a coach, is like pushing you to do it, right? You know, like this is what I do with all my clients. Okay, you're gonna go live. I want you to post. Okay, what time are you gonna post on Tuesday? Okay, at that time, yeah, and this is what you're gonna say, right? It just never ready. There's never a right time. You just go. You just do. You just do it. There's never ever gonna be a right time. I think I seen Lakeisha post on her stories. Like I seen you posting more the last night and today, Lakeisha. I noticed that. I see it because I don't see it a lot. Mia, I seen your posting is more confident, talking about, you know, you're changing your mindset and stuff like that. Yesenia did a live today, not a live, but she posted a video, right? It's never the right time. It's never the right time. The right time is all the time. It's now. There's never like a set time. So when did you feel confident? Yeah, good. Oh yeah. Same question. Sorry, you added to it. Yeah. So you gotta get coach, have somebody writing you and holding you accountable to do it. But if you don't, you just do it. You just go. You just do it yourself. There's never a right time. Being visible online makes a difference. I need to get back on it. Yeah, it makes a huge, 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 huge difference. All right. So I'm going to get into what we're talking about today. Any questions? Any comments? You guys good? And you know, this is when, you know, when you're living in your gift, is like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Sometimes I have bad days, and today wasn't a very good day. You know, I got lots of stuff going on. When you're running your own business and you got personal stuff going on and different things and trying to make decisions, it can get hard. And I had a hard day, but when I come live with you all and when I'm here, I just like turn into a different person. And that's when you know you love what you do. You feel like you're never working, and you just feel like you are doing the work that you were meant to do in this world. So I just want you all to remember that. It's like when you're living in your gift, and when you're living in your passion and your gift, there's no better feeling, right? There's no better feeling than that. So just know that, you know, know that, like, go after that so you can do this too. So you can live in your gift 24/7, 24/7, living in your gift and helping other people. There's no better feeling than what I do, which is my gift, right? And once you're able to do it for you, the sky's the limit, and you're going to always want to work. When people tell you like you never stop, it's like, because I always want to work, because it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work. So time to teach class. Yes, Melody, exactly. So that's when you get that feeling, you know it's real. Yes, I imagine living in your gift to be a form of therapy. It is. I'm telling you, I think it saved my life. You know, I think it has saved my life. It, you know, and actually when I was going through a lot of trauma with my daughter and different things, I really think that I forced myself to do it, but I really feel it saved me and it helped me. Right. So I think that, you know, we got to do it for ourselves, for our own health too. So let me see, let me get to the presentation for today. Like I said, we're going to talk about personal magnetism. Personal magnetism. Where'd that go? You guys are quiet today. I hope we can talk more later. All right, so we're in day 4, and we're going to talk about personal magnetism, mental magnetism, the 4 T's: tact, tolerance, temperance, and timing. And we're going to talk all about that, okay, today. So let me get down to it and get to the business. Jump in if you have any comments, if you want to say anything, because I can't really see, but just chime in if you need to say anything, okay? Let me this. Okay. So I just want to talk about, another reason why I did this is because, like no matter what, right, I've done in trying to build the confidence of women when it comes to mindset, when it comes to building their business and believing in themselves. It's tough, right? It's tough, and understanding that no matter how much we do it, we can have all the strategies, we can have all of the tools in the toolbox, but if we don't know how to project it, if we don't know how to show up, right? And if we don't know how to mentally connect with people, because we're selling here, right? We have businesses, so we can't hide. We have to show our energy. We have to show up, right? You have to show up on your podcast. You have to show up on your cooking show. You have to show up in your class that you're teaching. You have to show up in that appointment. And how you show up makes a huge difference on how people are going to refer you, how people are going to engage with you, how much money they're going to give you, right? All of these things, how much business they're going to do with you. This all has to do with it. Personal magnetism, okay? So every day I meet women that after being taught all these powerful truths and business practices still fail to build a successful base of loyal and satisfied customers. And why is that? They have a great product and excellent service, but they fail to realize the most important thing. No matter what you're selling or service you're providing, never forget that you are the brand, right? You are the most important part of the sell. And I will show you how to develop this personal magnetism that it takes to make a lasting impression on your customers that will keep them coming back to you. I will equip you with the understanding of the word power and effective communication that will give your customers the confidence in you and your product that you will need to succeed. Conversation rules the nation, and a person that can't get their customers excited, enthusiastic about what they're offering will not long be in business. I will teach you the many ways that your vocabulary and body language may be driving your potential customers and investors away. Sometimes we are not allowed a second opportunity to make a first impression, so we must maximize all we have to secure the deal, okay? So this is part of the mindset, right? The mental connection. This is why we're talking about this today, because that's part of it, right? I've realized that too, and I understand that. I know I have a personal magnetism that draws people in. I have the personal magnetism that has been able to bring a whole group of women together, right? I'm the glue that brings Powerhouse together. And I own it, and I love it, and I know it, right? But I have to continue that. Even though I have days where I might not have the energy, but when I come and serve, and when I come for my customers, you guys paid me, right? You guys paid me to show up. You paid me to bring you the good stuff. You paid me to come coach you. So I got to show up 100%. And this is how you have to show up with your magnetism, your personal magnetism. And we have about 4 T's, the 4 T's that I talked about: the tact, the tolerance, temperance, and timing. All right. So the first thing, well, actually, I'm going to share a little story with you about somebody, in just a little short story. But it's one of the first people in American business to be paid a salary of over $1 million a year, where there was no income tax, and a person earning $50 a week was considered well off. This person was Charles Schwab, right? You guys all know that name, right? Hired by Andrew Carnegie to become the first president of the newly formed United States Steel Company in 1921. He was 38 years old. For his ability to deal with people, right? Needless to say, he was a man of great personal magnetism, who undoubtedly mastered the skills of communication and human relations. He wasn't a scientist. He wasn't an accountant. He wasn't an inventor responsible for cutting-edge innovation, but was simply a man who was good with people. This has always been the most valuable quality a person can possess in the great world of industry and corporation. I would say that your entire success rests on how well we deal with people, be it customers or employees. No one wants to work for a person with bad presence, rude or ill-tempered, and you certainly would not choose to spend your hard-earned money with such a person. I know I wouldn't. People desire to spend their money with a person or establishment that makes them feel good. And it is a fact that you will get better performance from your employees if they're happy to work for you. People have been known to frequent cafes and restaurants where the food is known to be horrible, or at least less than savory, simply because they are made to feel welcome, appreciated, and important. These are the effects and results when the energy of great personal magnetism creates the atmosphere of your place of business. So let's get down to business on how to project this powerful energy through our everyday interactions. Every moment in our life, one of two of the things are happening. We are either compelling something or someone to come to us, or we are repelling something or someone away from us. It goes even deeper than that. You are either compelling the life that you want, or are you repelling it away from you, ladies, right? Are we calling it in, or are we repelling it away? Really think about that, right? If we're focusing on something that's not, we shouldn't be focusing on, we're repelling. If we are focusing on the things we should be focusing on, we are calling it in, right? So I want you to think about that, right? What are we doing? What are we doing to call it in, or what are we doing to repel it from us? All right, so let's just talk about tact, okay? Tact, as defined by Webster's, reads, a keen sense of what to do or say to keep good relations with others. A keen sense. And is this use of the word sense, it means intelligence and or judgment. So a sharp intelligence that gives us good judgment of what to do or say. And in other words, guidance, right? Tact is when we are being guided by intelligence, the source of personal magnetism that gives us the ability to be effective when dealing with other people. This is discernment, right? We just know. We just have that, know how to deal with different types of people. Tact is simply a knowledge of good taste. Many of us were raised under the notion that it is a show of strength to speak our mind or to just tell it like it is without consideration of what effect or candid outburst or position could cause upon the people and circumstances around us. I have learned that being right in terms of business nature is far less important to your bottom line than it better being effective, right? So I want to talk about this a little bit off what I'm reading, okay, and what I'm guiding you through. And I've dealt with this several times in business, right? In growing my business, having issues in my business where people might do me wrong, or I have a disagreement with somebody. I have to use discernment, right? I have to use tact, because is it going to affect my business? If I make that post, if I do that thing, if I call that person and cuss them out, if I say something like go live and go off on them on a live video, like I have felt all these things. I have wanted to do all these things, but I've had to have tact, right? Because at the end of the day, I have to think about my bottom line. I have to think about, okay, what are people going to say, right? Or what are people might say, oh, I'm not going to work with her anymore because she doesn't have no self-control, right? So I she might go off on me one day, so I don't want to do that. I'm not going to work with Chandra anymore. So I have to think about all these things. We have to think about that. We have to use our tact and our own discernment to make these decisions. Like, will it affect my bottom line if I do this? Right? I see a lot of business owners online and how they move, and I'll be like, oh, that's so counterproductive to what they're trying to do. When they did that post, or they did this and they did that. And I'm not talking about not being human, because you can still be human, right? And still people know that you have a heart, that you are human, and you go through things just like everybody else. You're not just rock solid and nothing can faze you. We are humans. Even though we're entrepreneurs and we're strong women, we are still human. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's just we got to use tact and discernment when we are making decisions and showing up in the world, in business. We all have to do that. So where was I at? Anybody have anything to say? You guys are so quiet today. Very, very quiet.
I'll say something really quick.
You don't have to, but I'm just saying. It's like,
when you're talking about this, like, especially with doing podcast interviews with people now, or even like at work, the employees that I manage now, like, a lot of people say that I'm very easy to talk to or to
Hmm.
confide in, or they feel really supported by
I've heard
me.
that about you. Hmm.
But one thing I definitely feel is that I don't have like a strong enough presence, or that I don't present kind of like an excitement.
Hmm.
So in terms of thinking what I'm going to do beyond the podcast, it's like, that's why tonight's topic is like so important to me, because I'm like, yes, I need that
Hmm.
presence. I need,
Hmm.
how do I get that without um, feeling, without like coming off as fake or trying too hard?
Right.
um,
Yeah.
because I think I'm really good with the behind the scenes stuff. So Chandra, as you know, like my Aunt Mary has very magnetic personality, but a lot of the content or things that she has done has come from me, but she's able to sell it with her personality. So how
Right.
can I attain that for myself?
I think that's more confidence for you, right? But it's just more confidence as you build it, and as people keep telling you, like, you just have a great presence, and you ask great questions, and they feel very comfortable with you, right? Once you start owning it and feeling it and seeing it for yourself, then you'll build that confidence muscle, right? And then that's going to naturally come out, right? We can tell when people are confident, and we can tell when people are not confident. We can see it. So I think it just naturally has to happen. But the good thing is that you have to be aware that you have to work on it, right? When you have a show or when you're running a business, you have to work on your personal magnetism. And you know, what's that fine line of being fake, right? Some people like fake it till you make it. Fake it till, so you got to come on here and be like, hey everybody, you know, I see that all the time. It's like, hey everybody, let's do, you know, like I'm not going to go like overboard and look super phony, but I use my hands when I speak. I talk loud. I do this, but you guys give me the energy, right? I get the energy from you. I get the energy from doing what I love, right? So it's going to come naturally because you're doing what you love. You're building your confidence muscle. And probably in the next couple more episodes, we'll be able to see that. And then when you start doing it live, right, and watching yourself and be able to work on that, I think it's just going to come with confidence for you, Erica, because I think that the reason why you're doing stuff behind the scenes for other people is because your confidence isn't there to do it for yourself. But now you're doing something for yourself, right? That is building your own confidence that you can do it, and you're getting proof that you're good at this. You just got to get more proof, right? And I think that you're the type of person that learns something and you put it into action, right? You might announce it, but you're working on it,
Yes.
right? I know that
Yeah.
about you. I know that about you. So I think that's where that will happen. And I definitely seen it when you've been interviewed on a few other shows. I see that confidence building, that muscle is growing. So it's just going to take time.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm a little too eager, so I need to allow the process to happen. Maybe that's, yeah,
Yeah,
I need to be a little more patient
it's okay. Yeah,
with
you know,
myself.
like,
Yeah.
things aren't going to just happen like that too. You know that, right? You know that.
Yeah.
So you're doing great. Okay. All right. Tact is defining factor in how what you are saying or doing will be received, and ultimately what response you will get as a result. Politicians are trained extensively in this area of expertise because they must always consider how their words and actions will be interpreted by the public. Many people do not make this keen sense of discernment habitual, and therefore go through life tearing down relationships as they build them, simply because they are not consistent in the art of effectiveness. So they're so right in this. I went through a training program called Emerge California. It's a political training program for women. And so they taught us, you know, like, how to effectively communicate. They put us in front of like um, the press that asked us crazy questions, right? And they trained us in how to do this. So it's definitely something that politicians have to have tact, right? They have to have, some don't, right? We have one in the main office that doesn't. So he obviously didn't get the training or he probably did and was probably like, forget it, I don't need to know all that stuff. You know, he does his own thing. But definitely trained in that way to have the tact, because as a politician, you're constantly critiqued on what you say and what comes out of your mouth. So one bad sentence or one, slip can just mess you up all the way. So you have to be careful. So it is good to practice to consider the effect that you would like to bring to the situation that best serves you, and adjust your words and actions so that they may serve your cause. I would rather be effective and successful in my endeavors than right and not meeting my bottom line. So tame your tongue and sensibilities so that they may serve you, and consider the effects of all you say and do. So some great principles using tact in business are: 1, begin with praise and honest appreciation. So begin with praise. So giving compliments and praising. I mean, this in management, right? These are good, like, principles in management as well. Principle 2, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Like, don't call out people like, oh, that was horrible, that sucked, right? Like, pull them to the side and say, hey, next time maybe do this, and don't embarrass them, pretty much. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. And, I feel like I've tried to do that. It's like I try to relate. It's like I've messed up too. I've made mistakes. I'm human. It's okay for you too, right? So kind of calling yourself out first, right? And then sharing that we have this thing in common with each other. Sorry, what are you guys saying over here? This is something I've had to learn and incorporate in my supervisory job. Yes, thank you, Mia. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders, right? That's great. Let the other person save face. So these are just good principles in having tact, okay? So that's number 1. So tolerance. Tolerance is definitely just as important as tact. In fact, one cannot be expressed without the other. Tolerance is a virtue because it requires patience. Many of us go unaware to the great measures that the people who love us go to tolerate us. Right? That's funny, right? Our family and friends, right, go through a lot of measures and jump through hoops to tolerate us sometimes, right? That's temperance. I mean, that's tolerance. They're tolerating us just like we're tolerating them. It's like, I love them. I love them. Let me remember that, right? We have to tolerate. We have to say it over and over again. We all can be a brat sometimes, or find ourselves really annoying and lose patience with people that we do this thing with our kids and our spouses, and they tolerate us because they love us, right? So tolerance is an act of love. It shows that you care more about the good of the person than any matter at hand. People who choose peace through the conscious choice to be more tolerant in their interaction at work, business, or home would automatically draw people to her. So what do you mean by this? Well, I certainly don't mean for you to become someone that accepts any kind of behavior from others. And that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is your mindset. Every day, unconsciously, men and women spend moment by moment judging everything and everyone we see. It's almost like every expression of life has to pass our appraising eyes for judgment and people, right? These are customers and employees can see it. They can feel your judgment. It's repelling. The Bible says, judge not, so that you should not be judged, because when you judge people and don't show any sense of tolerance of their choices, they are not going to like you for it. Tolerance of others is a recognition of their freedom, as well as a show of respect for who they choose to be. It is definitely a key element in personal magnetism. People are always drawn to people and places they feel free to be themselves without judgment. We must learn to tolerate one another a little more, and bring more love to the world. Okay? So some principles are: never criticize, complain, or condemn. Principle 2, consider the other person's point of view. Number 3, show genuine interest in what the other person wants. And 4, respect the other person's right to expression and stay in your lane. All right. So this tolerance is so important. And I can be honest with you that I have to work on my tolerance. Because I get like, oh, why aren't they doing this? Like, how come they're not following their dreams? How come they're not, like, we all, and I have to remember, we're all in our own lane, right? We all are on our own timing, right? I do push. I do push, 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 push. And I do like call people out. And I do sometimes I say things that pierce people like, oh, did she just say that right now? Or like, damn, is she talking to me? You know, I do that. I know I do. And sometimes I can't come off judgy, you know, and I have to be aware of that. I have to be aware of that. I have to work on that. We all have things to work on, right? So, you know, but I also know that I'm not for everybody. I also know that everybody's not going to, you know, I'm going to tell it like it is as your coach. I'm going to be hard. I'm going to go hard on you, but I'm also going to love you in the most nurturing way and get you to where you need to get to, right? I try to bring that good balance of love, nurturing, and push, right? So, you know, we have to be aware of that. We have to be aware of how we come across. I remember I was a director at a nonprofit, and I was doing like an evaluation on somebody, you know, and a young lady said that, I feel like you yell at me. Like, she's like, I'm scared of you. I feel like you yell at me. And I felt like I've never yelled at her before. And to me, I was like, I've never yelled at you. I'm like, you really feel that way? I just couldn't believe it. I was just like flabbergasted. I couldn't believe that, that she felt like I was yelling at her. But me yelling or me talking loud and being passionate could be yelling to somebody else. So I have to be mindful. We have to be mindful of that, right? And how we come across to other people. It could be cultural, right? It could be a cultural thing. It could just be a level of, you are the boss, you're the director, so you have to be careful with your tone, because you know, people that work for you can feel some type of way when you raise your voice. They feel that you're yelling when you're just passionate. Right? So you just never know how you're going to come across to people. So you have to be aware. So Mia said, this is something I've had to learn and incorporate in my super. Oh, you already said that, huh? Am I just reading what you already said? Sorry about that. I thought it just popped up. Okay. Anybody
No,
have anything on that?
I was saying it's like a mama bear kind of coaching, you know, when you have a passion for somebody, just like our kids, we have passion for our children. And, you know, in raising them, you know, it's like you raising us as business owners, and that's a passion. Yeah, so that's just a mama bear thing.
Yeah, I get very mama bearish. Ask some of them in here. I get very, very mama bearish as a coach. And I'll be like, crack the whip, but I'll be there to hug you and cheer you on as well. But I am that type of coach. I try to just have a good balance, right? Just like a mom. So anybody else on the tolerance? Like, does anybody else feel like they need to work on their tact or tolerance? The things that we've gone over so far?
You know, I did a training about 2 or 3 years ago. We did like this training at my job. And it was learning about people's personalities. And I now include that in actually one of my soft skills workshops. I include that because it helps a lot with understanding how people work. Mm-hmm. It also helps a lot with doing something like what we're doing by being here and doing this, because oftentimes I think when we lose tact or when we find ourselves in those situations where we're being challenged the most, it has more to do with us than it does with that actual person. Mm-hmm. I think that oftentimes we tend to take things personal, either when we're questioned, or we take things personal when we feel like someone is not receiving what it is that we have for them. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I think that without having a clear mindset and truly being completely and totally wrapped into being comfortable in your own skin, so much so that anyone can say anything and you're still able to not be detoured from what the task at hand is. And the task at hand is to provide the best service and the best information. Because the truth of the matter is that for many of us, we do similar things. But you'll have a person that'll drive 20 miles to get a hamburger when they can get a hamburger 3 miles from their home, you know? And it's because of the experience and the interaction that they probably had that would make them do that. So I always try to think along those lines, that anybody can really get what I'm giving them. but it's a choice to come to me every time.
Right, exactly. And they're going to come to you because of your personal magnetism, and they're attracted to you and what you
Right.
bring to the table, because they can hire any other type of consultant or, you know, trainer, facilitator to come in, right? But
Exactly.
they come to you, right? They come to you for a reason. Like people can go be coached by any other coach, but people come to me for a reason. Just
Right.
like they go to another coach for another reason. They have that energy. They feel that within that person.
And then one last thing.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes when someone didn't follow up with me, they went exactly where they were supposed to be. So it's not necessarily, so again, it's about how we receive and how what our outlook is. But regardless of who comes and who doesn't come, we still are doing purpose work.
Right, exactly.
For who needs it from us. And so that's been kind of my mindset, you know, for the last year or so. So yeah, definitely.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And like you said, sometimes it's even more about us. And I know from my personal experience, them too, when things happen with me, I always like look within inside of me and be like, what's going on with me? Why is this happening to me? Right. Or, you know, I just want to be mad at that person. Like, why would they do this to me? And it's really not about me. Right. It's whatever they got going on within them. And I need to not be concerned about that, right? And with me, I want to figure it out. You know, a lot of us want to figure it out. It's like, why would they do that to me? Why? And we just focus on it, which is distracting us from the bottom line, distracting us from focusing on our business because we're worried about what somebody did to us, when we need to control our mind and say that had nothing to do with me, right? That's their own problem. Let me stay in my lane. Let me keep going. Let me keep going because this is going to affect my bottom line, and I don't want it to affect my bottom line if I let it get in the way. So as a business owner that's growing, I have to use my discernment and make some decisions and say, okay, cry it up, be upset, move on, dust stuff off, and keep going. And we have to be able to get that way. We cannot allow others' inner projections affect us. Yes. Yeah, so guilty. All of us, Yesenia. I totally understand. So the next one is temperance. Is another quality that takes for granted while habitually unconscious of ourselves and the impressions that we're making on people. The definition of temperance is the habitual moderation. So the definition in itself suggests that we must make a habit of this keen sense of being, to moderate or lessen the intensity of our demeanor and responses. Everything is in your tone. A dog doesn't understand not one word of English, but it can tell if his master is happy with him or scolding him simply by reading his tone. A lot can be told by a tone and inflection. We can communicate frustration, annoyance, and that we're irritated by the tone of our voice. And if we aren't conscious of underlying messages we're sending, we could be repelling the very people we are depending on for business. No one is very comfortable around a gruff person, and why should they be? We send a multitude of silent messages every day through our use of tone. Let us learn to moderate our tone of voice to be more effective in our communications. Even when one is dealing with a wild beast, it is intelligent enough to discern the soothing, trusting tones of his handlers and cooperates. As with a baby, a mother is cooing to sleep. It automatically settles it through the soft tone of its mother's voice. There is something soothing and relaxing about a moderately tempered tone of voice. It is certainly a quality of personal magnetism. So some great principles using temperance is 1, avoiding expressing annoyance and frustration in our tones and inflections. 2, when attempting to establish a point, refrain from raising your voice to get your point across. 3, always remain conscious of vibe you're sending out through the emotion that you are tempering your words with. Okay, so using temperance, right? Just not being like getting upset or like, you know, you've all been around somebody who is like tense and how they come across is very like, oh, they're scary, right? Or you can just feel their energy right away, right? So part of personal magnetism is having a good balance right? Of being that person that comes in and brings a good energy, a person that is not too loud and not too low, right? A person that's even toned, or just like, hi, how you doing? Like, oh, great to meet you. And just that energy and positive energy you bring when you walk in the room. Showing that temperance, right? Showing that even temperance can go a long way. All right, so the last one, and then we'll get into questions and some coaching if you guys need it, is timing, right? Timing is so equally important when it comes to expressing an attractive personal magnetism. Just as it is important in sports, timing is just as important to hitting your mark or making the connections in business. Timing is crucial to the batter's swing as he connects with the ball with the strength and velocity of his swing. Without timing, the power of his swing would count for nothing, as so in business. Many of us have the good skills or service that are strong in our field of business, but we lack the element of timing to make the connection with or would-be customers. Timing of this sort can be closely compared to a rhythm of things that allow for them to go smoothly. When two people come together, there is a certain rhythm of communication that causes the interaction between them to flow. There is a harmony of ideas responding and resonating, going back and forth between them, a vibing of sensibilities that all seem to be hitting the right notes, blending together like beautiful music. When this happens between two people, we usually describe it as two hitting it off, or they really vibed with one another, or the two of them just fit. All of those descriptions of a successful interaction are the results and effects of plain old good timing. Have you ever approached a person really excited, enthusiastic about something, and with one look at them, you decided to keep your great news because from the look of them, you could tell that it just wasn't a good time? Timing is a lot like tact. It's realizing if what you're requesting or looking to share is a good taste at that moment. It's understanding or sensing the best opportunity for effectiveness when it presents itself. Some of us have a natural ability to read people and adjust our efforts to fit the other person's mood. And then there are people who just bulldoze ahead without giving timing, tact, or effectiveness a single thought when conducting their business. But these are the qualities of a winning personality. And one cannot expect to find success in business until these have been applied to his day-to-day interactions habitually. To hit a home run, a three-pointer, or land the deal of your life, it will take perfect connection gauged by your ability to time it perfectly. Okay, so we have tact, tolerance, temperance, and timing. All things we use for our personal magnetism. What I haven't told you is that we're putting all of this content that we created into like a workbook, into a book that you will all be getting. So, you don't have to write all this stuff down. You guys will all be getting this. Hopefully by next week, you'll get a written copy and you can have this content that we created so you can read through it and reference it as needed. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be talking about the law of abundance, like I mentioned, and really calling that abundant life that we want. So let's talk about this, ladies, on this tact, tolerance, and temperance and timing. If you guys have anything to say, if not, we can do some coaching. Let's see. Overanalyzing situations we can't fix is time consuming. Yes. Anybody have any insight or ready to put some of this into action, or feel like they need to have some more tact, tolerance, temperance, or timing in their work that they're doing?
So this is Leah.
Hey, Leah.
Hi. So this has always been, I think, or I've always thought it's one of my strong suits. It's what's allowed me to navigate through different jobs and promote and all of that. And I currently took a new role, and I'm dealing with someone who lacks all of this. And it is pushing me, and it's draining me. It's pushing me to want, like, to the edges of my tact, tolerance, all of those, and because she lacks all of it, and it's draining me, and I don't want to use that as an excuse, I suppose, to to get to my goals. But every day I've been coming home just feeling like I don't have anything left because
she
so
drains it. Yeah, she drains it from you.
yeah.
So you
I'm
got to
just,
project that energy back to her and not let her give it to you, right? you got to send that energy right back to her and not take that in. And it's hard to do that, but you can really be mindful and even like after the day ends, before you go home, close your eyes at work and just be like, I'm giving all this energy back to Lisa, whatever her name is, and just intentionally say that, right?
okay.
I'm giving
Yeah.
all this energy, I'm pulling out all this negative energy and I'm giving it back to her, and say her name.
I like
Right?
that.
Say her name and give it back to her. And hopefully that energy will go back to her and you can have more energy for yourself, and let that be your motivator, right? Let that be your motivator. Like, I don't want to work with this woman forever, right?
Not.
I don't want to work here anymore, right? I can't. Like, let that motivate you, and don't let her. She's sucking your energy. She is stealing that away from you, so you can have the energy. So you don't have the energy to work on your own stuff. Don't let her do that. You take it back.
I give it back to her.
Give it back to her, and you can take back your good energy, your good tact, and everything that you've been working on, right? And you go work on your business and put that magnifying glass on something else, and not saying that, I'm just drained because I had to be around this lady all day. But give her energy back and see if that works.
Okay, I'm gonna give that a shot. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yes, Jen teaches this for sure. Maybe I could call her in tomorrow. We'll see. Yes, take that energy back for sure. Anybody else? Don't make me call you. All right. Okay, we're good. You guys got a lot of information. Tell me who needs help with anything, any questions, especially on this topic when it comes to your business, right? Thinking about timing. Think about timing, right? Think about tact and showing up. You could connect this with social media and marketing, right? How do you utilize tact, tolerance, temperance, and timing in social media and in your marketing? Like, when's the right time to post, and when should I be doing this, and when should I be doing that? I think you should be doing that now, right?
Sandra?
Who is that? Magda?
Magda. With regards to lives, what do you suggest? Anytime, evening, nights, afternoons?
I think a good time is like 9 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
9 o'clock in the morning is when people are kind of already settled at work or at home now, right? They started work, or I would say like between 9 and 9:30. And then, so more people are scrolling on their phones during that time. And then 3 o'clock is that break time where everybody's like tired, don't want to work anymore. So they're scrolling again on their phones. So I would say like between 9:30 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. Thank you.
Is a good time to get more eyes. So that's good timing to do that.
So with that said, hi.
Hi.
So my business is more of advertising, letting folks know when I'm teaching so I can get them into the room. And so with what you just said, sort of the 9 a.m., 3 p.m., I have tried to play around with how far in advance to post about a class. Is it better to be consistent with, because I know this is branding in terms of the look of what you are putting out there. And I'm playing around a little bit with that, but like how many, so if your event's on Sunday, what is your suggestion for how soon to start posting it so that people remember, but then it's not too soon where they forget, but then you post it too late, then they're like, oh, I missed it. So I'm trying to figure out that, Thursday seems to be the day, but I don't know the methodology behind that. Like, I'm sure there's some science.
There might be some algorithm stuff, but honestly, if people are going to want your class, they're going to want your class. It's not going to matter on the day, right? It might matter on the time. So in the evening, you probably know a good time for women or whoever your ideal person that takes your class. They're moms, are they, working, so they need 6:30, 7:00. You kind of can gauge that, but you pick any day that you want. I say about 10 days out to start marketing something. But like for you, Melody, I don't know if you want to have monthly classes, weekly classes, because you can say starting in October, I'm offering yoga class once a week, every Thursday, and you sell packages, right? For 6 months, or you sell monthly packages, you pay monthly to me to have unlimited classes, right? Or to attend every Thursday to attend yoga with me, or you can just pop in and pay one time, right? So you have the options to do that. So you're not trying to market like for one class, like you're going to have the class on Thursday, on September 15th. And so, you got to market for that. And then you have to have another class, right? Then you have to market for another class. But if you market and it's consistent, it's like I do this class every Thursday, for yoga every month. Every month, every Thursday. And it's a flat fee of $60 a month, or it's $10 per class, whatever. I'm just throwing out numbers like that. But, you can create a flyer, right? That's saying that, so people can sign up ahead of time and do the monthly, or they can pop in. They know that they can just pop in and pay you $10. Always have your links for people to pay you right away, so that's accessible. But I would always say like 10 days out to start marketing. But even if you did 3 days out, it's okay. You got to gain some traction. But the leading up to classes, or leading up to when we want to start collecting money, you want to be visible, right? You want to be visible. You want to be on the top of minds of people. You want, when people are thinking about yoga and thinking about getting fit and trying something new, and saying that, they've been hearing you talk about women of color and yoga, and how, how beneficial it is for us, and all these things, right? And we want to, Yesenia had to go. We have to educate. You have to educate us, right? So then when the class comes, they're like, oh yeah, Melody's been talking about why yoga is important, and there's not enough of women of color involved in yoga. So I'm going to take her class. I'm excited about it. So revving up to that, right? The visibility needs to be there. Revving up to me selling anything. I'm constantly marketing. I'm always marketing. I'm marketing every day. Before Powerhouse Academy starts, I'm doing that every day. So you got to be educating, visible, letting people know that you're there. Because sometimes people just pop up with a service or a program, and they haven't been marketing themselves. They haven't been marketing themselves or showing that they're an expert in that. They're not showing people that they know their stuff, right? So you got to educate. So you can do a whole lot of things to talk about the benefits of yoga, coming live, making a post, the 10 great things that happen when you start yoga, or just any education that you have to share, you should be sharing it, right? And that's the marketing that you do before you rev up to the 10 days, within those 10 days.
And I have both Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and both my Yoga Harmony name and then my own personal. And what's happened is I've gotten so comfortable on my own personal, even though I'm advertising or talking about yoga, that I haven't been using the Yoga Harmony. I need to make that switch because I need that name to be what's out there. Is that correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily, because what I've learned, like I have my Socialpreneur, Shonda Brooks, the Socialpreneur business page. But honestly, you don't get as much traction on your business Facebook page that you do on your personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to, so I market on my personal.
Okay.
I market way more on my personal, because that's where you're going to have more eyes.
Yeah.
Right. You can always put content on there, but you got to have more eyes. More eyes. You're going to have more eyes on your personal page. It's just the way it is. So I market like crazy on there. And what you can do is like if you have your yoga business yoga page on Instagram,
Mhm.
you can when you post there, it'll automatically go to your business. You can set it on your Facebook business page,
Yes.
right? Is it connected already?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So then you're not posting 3 times,
Right.
right? So that's kind of how I do it, because
Okay.
like anything I post on Instagram, it automatically goes on my business Facebook page. So there's activity on there, and it's not just dead.
Right.
Because I really do all my marketing is on my personal page. And some people like, oh, I don't want to get on people's nerves and my family's nerves. Like at the end of the day, who cares? There's plenty of people that might know somebody who's like, oh my God, my friend was just looking for an online yoga class, and you popped up on their feed talking about online yoga, and they connect you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. Look at Tisha wants to start yoga.
I see.
There you go.
Okay.
See, like we're all going to be supporting each other and patronizing each other. So that's what's
Sure.
great
I
about groups.
plan to work with you, Chandra, to give everybody that's part of this group. We're going to do a class.
Yeah,
Just
let's do
figure
it.
out what time, and you guys. I found a lot. Just this group. Have never done yoga. Have wanted to try it and just haven't. And so y'all all prove my point that women of color are not doing yoga. And see, the whole plus size, that is the myth. You do not have to be teeny tiny to do yoga, baby. Yoga for everybody. Okay, y'all are my group.
Yes, exactly. I can't wait. Yeah,
Oh.
I want to try it.
Hear that passion? See, you guys talk about finance coaching. I talk about yoga.
Yeah, no, exactly. But like you said, it's proof to you
Yeah.
as well, right? That some of us are scared, and we got to get rid of that stigma of yoga. Like we feel like we got to be teeny tiny so we can go like stand on our head or whatever, or one leg or balance and all this stuff. Because honestly, I can be scared of it. But if you can eliminate that stigma, right, and online and start talking about it and saying like you don't have to be 100 pounds to do yoga. Like that could be the heading of a live video that you talk about.
Okay.
Right? Like really call it out.
Okay.
I'm all about like calling stuff out, like saying the things that people are saying in their heads.
Yes.
Right? Say those things to people, and I bet it'll work.
Okay.
It'll work. Your tummy should be with you. What do you?
Yes, baby, your tummy's supposed to be with you.
Yeah, I love my tummy.
True.
Anybody else have any questions? You guys good? Going once, going twice. Everybody good on their marketing? Mia, Leah, anything you need? Keisha, you guys good? Danielle?
I have a quick question.
Who's that? Erica?
Erica.
Huh?
I need to learn, and I think sometimes when I ask questions, I kind of think of the answer when I ask it.
You know the answer already.
But like the power of hashtags, I was
Yeah.
going to ask about that, but I guess what I need to do is search other like podcast or
There's a hashtag generator.
is there?
Yeah, it's called hashtag generator online. You can Google it, and you can just put in podcast, right? And it'll give you all types of different, it will give you hundreds of podcast hashtags to you.
Oh.
And what I do is I'll copy and paste those onto my phone in my notes on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep those hashtags on here handy. So I just have to copy and paste and drop them. Because writing a like 20 to 30 hashtags per Instagram post is a freaking headache. Like who does time for that?
Miriam Cruz, when she was my podcast guest and she like, reposted the episode, she put a bunch of hashtags, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I forgot about the power of hashtags.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to that hashtag generator because I need help with that.
Yeah. And having them handy in your phone. Like I have hashtag generator. I go woman empowerment, women in business in the generator, and I get all these different hashtags that have to do with that stuff. So, like with Melody, you can put yoga in the hashtag generator, and you'll get all these yoga hashtags that more people, you could even do like women of color in yoga, Black women in yoga, and then so you can attract your clients. So you can put that, and then you put the hashtags into the Instagram, and then people, it'll just pop up on more people's feeds other than just your followers.
Nice.
Yes. Well, it seems like nobody else has any more questions. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for the questions you guys did ask. Let me know if you have any questions. Tomorrow is a law of abundance. We're going to call in that money tomorrow, and that abundance of business, abundance of clients, abundance of everything tomorrow. And we're going to close out this class. So thank you so much for being here on Thursday nights. If you guys need anything, please reach out, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay? All right, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.